So let's start off. This is the IFCO-TV live from New Beginnings, and we're here with Bryn, Gillow, co-host, and myself, Frank Hahn, with the man of the hour, Jim Dubel, who actually puts this all together and works tirelessly and been doing it since, was it 1991?
Well, before that, wait a minute, this is TV? You told me it was radio.
No, this is TV.
I would have put some makeup on or something and made myself look beautiful.
You look beautiful.
Thank you. In that case, I'll accept. Yes, 1991 is when we named New Beginnings. We actually started it. You got to realize we're old guys. We were all back in school in the 70s, and we started doing this thing, I'd say about 82, but we named it New Beginnings in 1991. So how many years ago is that?
Oh, that was about 21 years ago, 22?
Yep.
Somewhere in the neighborhood.
You know, there's only one guy older than that. That's Jack Borla, and he's been around a long time, that old guy. And Shane Walker, my God, those two guys.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway,
wait till the
besides
bonfire
that,
later.
Okay,
we
let's
got
go.
some hecklers here,
Yeah,
so they were just getting their fair share.
Interfering with us on the other side of the camera that you did not see. But continue, please, Jim.
All right, so we, how did New Beginnings get started? Real quick, we started as just a group of successful, busy chiropractors that were principled. And we noticed that the more we hung out together, the bigger our practices got, the more excited we got, the more passionate we became. So we got together more and more and more often. And we formed a board of guys that, you know, we would all speak in each other's office or have little groups, and we'd go all around the Northeast up here. And we're still, 99% of us are still together here 23 years later, 25 years later. The crazy part is the few that aren't here have actually passed on. Wow. You know, like Howard Cantor, Lou Panuccio, Dick Santo, they were all board members in New Beginnings. So that being said, here we are today with a very successful and fun weekend. And I'm counting on guys like you two to keep this thing going, you know, principled people, because, you know, we're not going to be around forever. I'd rather pass the torch, so to speak.
It's ironic you brought up Lou Panuccio. I have a message for you. I checked his granddaughter, his daughter, and the wife when she comes up and visits.
Is that right?
Yeah, in the office. And I didn't know that they knew you. I said, I'm going out to this thing called New Beginnings. She's like, oh, I'll tell you all about it. I've been there plenty of times.
Yeah, well, Lou was a board member.
Yeah, the daughter, Leah, remembers coming here as just a child and being around all you guys, and she's like, oh, that's in that Long Branch. Yeah.
I see Lou's son from time to time.
Right.
I think he's an attorney now.
Yeah.
And, you know, we see him, and we see Adam, what's it called, the Cantor boy, Adam Cantor. Yep. And we see, anyway, they were all part of it.
So now, I see on Facebook and all that you call yourself Outlaw Jim. Tell me more about that. Why are you an outlaw?
Well, I'm trying to get away from it, but thanks for bringing it back up.
Yes.
I was in a discussion with a young gentleman, and I'll use that term very loosely, that was talking about the future of chiropractic and drugs in one of the states. I think it was New Mexico. And I said to him, how can you even think that chiropractic is so pure, so perfect in the way it is? It hasn't changed in 115, 16, 17 years. You know, when you move a bone off a nerve, that's it. It's not going to change. You don't need to improve it. There's not a new and improved chiropractic. It works. And he said, well, you know, if we really want to take care of people, if we want to treat them, we have to have, you know, drugs. And the guy, this knucklehead wants to give him, you know, aspirin, you know, over-the-counter medications. And he wanted that to be okayed, so he'd be more of a real doctor. And I said, boy, I'll tell you what, that's not what it is. We got into a discussion, and he goes, well, you know what, if it becomes the law, you'll be an outlaw. And I said, well, then I'm an outlaw. He says, well, you're an outlaw. And I said, well, you're a and we went on. And that's where we went. So they called me Outlaw Jim. And then I rallied around that to use it for a while. Right. And that was the reason. So it was fun.
Yes.
When you were envisioning New Beginnings way back in the days when it first began, I see right now we have like maybe 750 to 1,000 people here in attendance. Why has it grown so much when some of the other seminars might be even slacking or not growing?
Well, here's the thing. The first thing, we have a board. It's not one person. A lot of these other groups are one person and they're ego-driven. And some of them are great guys or great women that are there putting their seminars together. But this is for the right reasons, okay? We have a board right now. There's 14 of us, husbands and wives, that adhere to the principles and the passion of chiropractic. What we do is we meet religiously and discuss where we think chiropractic should be. How can we protect it? What can we do? And there's limits. You know, when I was 40 years old, you know, that was 20 years ago. I'm 60 now. I ran around like a crazy person, like a chicken with my head cut off. Every battle I want to be in, I want to fight with everybody for principal chiropractic. Now I'm going to leave it up to you two guys to do that, but we're still here. And we want to show you that there's some veterans that have been successful, that had good volume practices, that helped a lot of people over those years. And by doing the right thing, telling the truth prevails. It's been a truth, it'll remain a truth, it'll always be a truth, and that's what we have here at New Beginnings. The best thing that I can say, no one on the board is satisfied. When I look out in the room and see every seat filled, standing room only, and babies crawling around the floor, and people coming crying, saying we changed their lives, I'm not happy, I'm not satisfied. It's not that I'm not grateful, because I am, but I want to see 5,000, 6,000, 10,000. I want to see big hotels, you know, full of people hearing what we have to hear. And then eventually I can see one day, you have a vision, that, and bringing patients and lay people coming and doing testimonials on things, the crazy stuff that has happened in chiropractic. And it's there, it's right there for us to grab, especially with social media like this.
Yes.
You know, we can get some shows like this out there to let people know what New Beginnings is all about, what chiropractic is all about. And I hate to put it in that order. It should be what chiropractic is all about first, and then New Beginnings second, because you always put the tick before the tour.
Right. And this show, we got this. We were able to get this show online on there because of teachercast.net, which they're sponsoring everything. All the equipment you see here, and Jeff is volunteering his time to make sure that this gets out there. Now, here's what's special about it. There are people watching us live at the moment and interacting with us via that Twitter, if you know that website, Twitter and Facebook. So they're sending us messages talking about our event, about New Beginnings, and then asking us questions, interacting. So there might be a couple of questions that come through in a minute for you. And then also what we want to do is ask you a specific question more about New Beginnings and the speakers. How do you choose the speakers to go on the platform?
Can I interrupt one second?
Yeah,
I just
sure.
want to remind people, if you do want to ask your question on Twitter, hashtag IFCO in order to get your questions to us. Okay, make sure you get those in there.
All right, how do we choose speakers? It's sort of an innate thing. It's in osmosis almost, where a lot of successful people come to New Beginnings and they want to share, so we can put them up there. And then what we do is we look for somebody that shows up at New Beginnings, they're here, they're successful, and one of the board members will say, oh, by the way, you know, you want to talk to Frank, you know, he wants to speak, or Bryn wants to speak, and that's how you get on. So that's what we do, but we also look for guest speakers, and we had a couple this weekend, and we bring in somebody that might be a mover and a shaker out there, and we'll see him on Facebook, or we'll see him on the internet, or we'll get something through snail mail, and it'll be somebody that's doing something different. So we extend an invitation to them to come and to speak. And that's worked out real well. The thing that we don't do is we won't bring in people that don't adhere to our lifestyle, you know, about chiropractic, our understanding of chiropractic, because we turn away a lot of quote-unquote metapractors, guys that are confused what chiropractic really is, and we have no problem saying no. We've had money offered to us from companies to be in here, to be in our exhibit area, and my wife Babs, who runs the exhibit area, Babs will call up the board and she'll say, listen, I'm not even going to bother telling you guys about this, but somebody offered us $10,000, and it's like, well, what'd you tell them? No. Okay. Next,
Yeah.
you know, you say $10,000. No,
Right.
Yeah.
you can't be here, and so we try to keep that to ourselves. So,
Peter Kevorkian is visiting us on the other side of the camera, dancing away.
well, you know,
Yep.
we need some entertainment now and then.
So, Jim, we just got a question from Twitter.
Oh,
Would
great.
you want to answer
Absolutely.
a question? Great. So I know you had set up a Skype call coming up. So this question has to do, what advice would you give a chiropractor looking to start a conference on the West Coast, or if they are on the West Coast, can they participate with us here at New Beginnings?
Okay, I'm not sure how I'm going to answer that. If you can start one, start it, do it. Anything you can do to get around other successful people, other chiropractors of like mind, that think the way you do, or think the way you want to think, because you learn from them. I started years ago listening to Jim Sigafus, Chuck Ribley, and the DE movement. And from there, I read every green book, because I went to Palmer, got them all, read them. Couldn't tell you what's in them, but I read every one of them. And it gave me a huge leg up to success. That being said, if you have the passion, Danny Knowles sent me an email maybe a month ago, and he said, Dubel, what do you think if we start something in Colorado? I said, absolutely. And he goes, I thought that's what you would say. And I said, well, sure. I mean, the more we have, the more little groups we have. And he said, what should we name it? I said, your Nate will tell you. I mean, I'm like, it's his idea. Yeah. So it'd be like one of you asking me a question about what you think. I support you. I'm not going to tell you what to name it. I'm not going to tell you where to have it, when to have it. You do all that, because your Nate has already told you, given you enough input to start this thing. So for the West Coast, do it. But get around. There's people out there that are great speakers, great leaders, and get together with them. Start something, put it together. I mean, Billy DeMoss is out there. That whole group. Now you got Danny Knowles in...
Jack Burla visiting us too today.
And Jack's here. Jack's loving it. So that being said, and now we're going to the Skype thing. This is the first attempt to do a long distance call, from New Zealand here to New Beginnings to a group with Skype with Sarah Ferrand.
And it's actually the furthest away.
Yeah, right. To start.
We couldn't have picked it any.
So that's in there now. They're going to start at any minute. And maybe that might be the thing of the future, which I think it will be. And I'd like to see, I did a Skype call with one of the colleges where they had a good dedicated line, and they put me on the screen, and there was 50 people that got to see me at one of the schools. I'd love to see, Sherman or somebody get that, and maybe instead of the Sherman Connect call, maybe a Skype call. Now, how cool would that be? This way you can see somebody.
I think they're already doing that, because the League of Chiropractic Women's chapter down in Spartanburg already asked me to do a Skype thing with them, because they knew, for a 20-minute thing to fly down to Sherman is not really that feasible.
Yeah.
So
and I think that's the thing of the future. Look, social media, this stuff that's going on. Guys, I'm a dinosaur. You guys, I hate to say it, aren't even on the cutting edge. You got to get one of these 16-year-old kids in here to figure this out and get it done, and then we're going to have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree.
Can you imagine how many people we can get to if we start doing that? Yeah. And you start doing every Wednesday. You get out of the office, you just click on your computer, and you can sit at your office, while you're right before you go home, and watch a Skype call of some, Jim Sigafus, a great chiropractor, and you get it, and you can record it. I think it'd be fabulous.
Yeah. So. And when I think about that, I did hear you not Skype, but conference call with the Sherman Connect on Monday. That's great technology, and we just keep on advancing through the technologies. But it's fun when you can use them in places like here at New Beginnings and at Lyceum coming up. And I think you guys are speaking down at Lyceum this year too, right?
Yeah, I think I'm going. Tony DeMarco and Bobby Tarantino are going down representing New Beginnings.
Yep, I've been going to Lyceum for years, and I have yet to hear you speak at Lyceum. Is this first time, or have you been there before?
No, this is my third, actually.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Third time down there. I was down there years ago, and then I was there a few years ago when John Schwartzbauer became president, and then this will be my third.
Okay. Oh, excellent.
I wanted to know also, we asked the same question to Bobby Tarantino earlier. For you, over all these years, do you have any favorite moments from New Beginnings? Any moments that stick out in your head?
There's been some emotional ones where Innate gives you something to say. There was one time we had, and for me, I had a little boy, a patient that was 2 years old, that another chiropractor referred to me from New York. And little baby was perfect in every way, got his vaccinations, and became autistic. The father brought him in literally in his arms, laid him on my table, and said, I was referred to you. Would you adjust him? And I said, absolutely. So I adjusted this little boy, free of charge. Absolutely. I was thrilled that he brought him in. I was honored. And we worked on this poor little kid 3 times a week. Either the father and mother would bring him, drive him to my office for about 6 months. And in that 6-month period, the difference in the boy who was darn near given up as a vegetable, he came back, he had eye movement, he began to walk, he began to try and talk. And, there was normal progression going on with his age, but because of the adjustments, absolutely like night and day. They had to take a break because the father got transferred, and I didn't see him for about a month. And they brought him back, and you could see how he deteriorated back because they hadn't taken him to anybody. I said, just find a chiropractor that'll adjust him. So, long story short, to cut to the chase, they wound up, we got him back on track, and we saw him every Saturday morning. He was my first patient in the morning for probably 8 years. And the medical doctor said that he wasn't going to live because he was so severely handicapped. And we brought him in here to New Beginnings, and he walked up on the stage. This little boy walked up, and he said, I'm alive because of chiropractic.
Wow.
And right now, I'm getting tears in my eyes.
Yes.
And the father just absolutely adores chiropractic. And little Matt was just a great little kid. And that was a long time ago. But as one of the starring moments, that was probably it for me personally.
There are so many chiropractors out here who will give their time and share with you what it will take for you to become successful. New Beginnings is a great place to find a mentor and just learn from them, or just interact and mingle with them. For the folks who have never been here, Jim, what is a New Beginnings experience like? What would you say if you can sum it up in a couple?
Well, when people come here, I personally say welcome home. And my analogy is Thanksgiving, you're at the table, and it's an empty chair. And we're waiting for that person. And they walk in, they're instantly welcomed, they're a family member, and they get to dine in pure principle chiropractic. It's something for everybody. We try to keep it as reasonable as we can, with all the bills we have, but it's a place, it's a mecca, it's a place to call home, it's a place you can go to and see your friends and fellowship. Why every principal person isn't here, I don't know. Maybe they don't know about it, and maybe this is an invitation to them. So, I'd like to invite everybody to come join us.
We spoke earlier about chiropractors giving their time, their talent, their treasure. Jim has done plenty of that over the years, and I know all the speakers that speak here, none of them get paid. They do it because they love what they do. The passion comes out in them, and you can hear it with them. And when you interact with all these chiropractors here, that's what I find the best. The passion or the fire is coming out of them. And you go back Monday morning to practice, and you're so inspired and pumped up that you just want to share chiropractic with the world, and that's what keeps me going and getting motivated and getting out there and doing everything that I'm doing.
You know what it is too? You get beat up in practice because you get somebody, I'm no better, you didn't help me, this did, and that's not what it's all about. And people, it takes them a long time to get the idea, which we call the big idea. BJ said, get the idea, all else follows. You got to constantly. If you're a baseball player, you keep batting. You take batting practice before you get into the game to hone your skills, to get it ready. This is where you hone yourself. This is where you get back on track. And then you see, like I might have a problem, and I'll come in, I'm downtrodden because something happened. Somebody says, "What happened to me?" And this is what I did. And you go, "Why didn't I think of that?" That's the answer. But you got to keep coming here. You wash your car once. You come out the next day and there's pollen all over it. You wash it again. That's how you keep your car polished. How do you keep your chiropractic polished, your philosophy? You come to New Beginnings. You get together with other groups that have it, and there's groups all over the country. You get with people that think that way, and you hang out with them, and you learn it. It polishes you. It gets you shining, and you know exactly what to say. There's times when people ask me, how do you think of that, Jim? I didn't think of it. Somebody else said it somewhere in my 40 years of chiropractic, and I just bring it back and I regurgitate what I've heard somewhere, somehow. And who said it? I don't know. I'm not the author of 99.9% of the things I say. It might even be one of you two guys that been up there and said something, and I went, I got to put that in. And it clicks, and Nate holds it till the right time, and then you can say it again. So.
Jim, Bobby Tarantino just stopped by the program and was sharing a lot of moments about New Beginnings, the history, so if any of you are inspired by many of these speakers, you can just come out here and mingle with them. I know I looked on the website, we're scheduled through 2014 right here. Right? The next event is coming up when? October.
And I think the 24th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, that's going to be a huge one. We're doing, we hate to do it, but we have to. 15 hours of continuing ed.
Right. Oh,
so if that doesn't attract some of the people that don't necessarily want to get off their, where. And then we're going to have a Halloween party, costume party, which is always fun. It's good to, come in and just relax and fellowship with, and get dressed up and be silly. So that's going to be fun. So it's the whole package. It's fellowshipping. It's the passion we have here. All that put together is what makes chiropractic.
And where does somebody go to find out about New Beginnings?
Well, the website's the easiest, nbchiro.com. And you can always call somebody like Liam Schubel or Jack Borla. They know all about it. So those guys will be there. But nbchiro.com and you can get it.
And
Yes, and join the Facebook site because that's where there's constantly such good information on there.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Jim, thank you so much for stopping by, sharing about New Beginnings with us.
My pleasure.
It was a great time, and we have some more guests coming up after you to talk more about New Beginnings and the IFCO. So it was a pleasure.
All right,
Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
Yep.